Making the Invisible Visible, Black Women 365 Days of the Year. Each day will spotlight a remarkable woman whose story has shaped Black, British or global diasporic history. Women whose achievements are too often overlooked. Through these daily short films, we create a living, breathing archive of leadership, creativity, resistance and legacy. Let's begin.
Greetings, I'm Zita Holbourne and I do a combination of different things. So I'm a multidisciplinary artist and I'm also an activist and campaigner. In my creative practice, I work as a performance poet, a published poet, an author, a visual artist, a curator, a vocalist sometimes, and also I would say an educator because education is part of my creative practice. And then as an activist, again, I do a combination of things. So I work for some trade unions. I co-run another trade union, and I'm a grassroots activist. So I'm the co-founder and national chair of Black Activists Rising Against Cuts, BARAC UK, and an equality and human rights campaigner. And intertwining or interconnecting all of the work I do is striving for equality, freedom, justice, and rights. So I'm a freelancer, which means that actually I end up doing lots of different things during the course of any given day, and no day is the same. So I'm a campaigns officer for one union that I work for freelance part-time, but I also, for another union, deal with cases. And then in my own union, Artists Union England, I am dealing with all sorts of things. So dealing with cases, giving advice, answering queries, the day-to-day running of the union. And if I have time to just create art for the love of creating art, then that's really nice to do because it's therapeutic, it's downtime doing something creative that isn't a commissioned piece of work or doesn't have a deadline. I try and do that in between because it's really good for self-care. Okay, I would say being the co-founder, I was one of two co-founders of BARAC UK in 2010. BARAC, we anticipated was going to be a short-lived campaign. It was set up to respond to the adverse disproportionate impact of cuts to come, austerity, the austerity program in the summer of 2010. So these cuts haven't happened yet, but we thought it would be a short-lived campaign, lots of different campaigns I've been involved in, rather than an organisation that would still be here 16 years, nearly almost 16 years down the line. So I would say that really had an impact. That journey really gave me confidence. It meant that I learned a lot about myself. I built resilience and strength, not that I didn't have them before, but running your own thing has that impact on you, doesn't it? And keeping it going. So it taught me not just about resilience, but the importance of collective care. And that's been introduced into our work, led by me, because I think it's essential to keep going and avoid burnout. I think that I'm perceived as a strong person. And I think sometimes that idea of being strong means that people forget that you've actually got feelings, that you've got weak spots, that you've got vulnerabilities and sensitivities. I think that there is a pressure, particularly on Black women, to show up as strong and being able to take on everything and have the weight of the whole world on your shoulders. But the reality is we're human beings, and we have the same emotions and feelings as everybody else. So perhaps that's one of the things I'd like people to know and see. I'm really fortunate because I'm a creative, and that creative outlet allows me to celebrate, allows me to have time out, and keeps me going. And an example of that was during the pandemic, where we were all going through horrific times, but also I was trying to help others through what they were going through all day, every day. Just creating a piece of artwork every evening was my respite from all of that. And it was also a way of documenting what was happening in the world, what was happening in the pandemic in a creative way. And what I didn't know when I created that is that I'd end up getting a commission to create a large scale globe sculpture for the World Reimagined, which would be transferring all of that visual diary that I did over the course of a year onto one single globe, documenting collective struggles and celebrating who I am and my culture.
Thank you for joining us for today's story. Making the Invisible Visible is our commitment to ensuring that Black women's histories and contributions are recognised, valued and kept in daily circulation. Across 2026, we will continue to share these powerful narratives, 365 days of impact, brilliance and inspiration. Stay connected, join the conversation and help us champion the women whose journeys continue to shape our world. I'm Paulette Brooks and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for the next story.